Welcome pilots, my name is Hybrid V and we are back once again to watch Your Takeoff and Landings. This time we are at Everus Harbor in orbit over Hurston. Now, if this is the first time you've watched the show, what I do here is I fly around in my beautiful Fury here and I watch people taking off and landing and I give them a rating out of 10. Now, we are not rating on technical aspects of their landing or anything like that. What we are rating on instead is how cinematic the actual landing is. So think of something you would see, I don't know, maybe in Helldivers or Star Wars or any other type of sci-fi medium. What we want when people are landing is a nice, smooth and controlled descent, gear right before they touch down, and any VTOL usage as well, so long as they look good while doing it. Also, what we are looking for takeoffs is people who are taking off nice and smooth, minimal hesitation, gearing up before they leave the hangar, and then taking off, making sure they extend their wings and they turn their VTOLs off as well. We want to make sure that everything looks good and cinematic, no hesitation, no waffling as they come out of the hangars. I know a lot of people tend to like to put their star map in while they are just outside the hangar, but you know, we're going to take points away from that. Also, we do take points away for impacts and destruction of the ship or anything like that. Those are things that we take away also because it's not very cinematic. Anyway, enough with the spiel. Let's go ahead and move on to the first customer, shall we? And what have we have here? One of the small hangars opening up right now here. I'm hiding behind the billboards. I believe the ships spawn looking away from me. Yes, they do. There we go. We have an Antares actually taking off. An Antares is not something we see very often here. Nice takeoff, although they did apply some upward strafe as they were taking off. They almost nearly clipped the edge of the hangar as they left on their way. By the way, though, they did lift up. They had their gear up. As you saw, they had their wings extended, so they had their S-foils in attack position, so to speak there, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then on they went with a somewhat of a bolter pattern there. I would like to see them leave in a more straight line rather than kind of strafing up, because that was a little spooky. They almost ended up clipping the hangar on their way out there. Overall, very nice, very controlled, minimal hesitation. I just would like to see them be a little bit more center line as they take off, so I'll give them a 9 out of 10 on that takeoff. Very well done. All right, let's move on. All right, small hangar opening up again here. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to dolly the camera forward ever so slightly here. I can't really see much. I'm going to try to move my Fury a little bit closer. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to get in the way of people as they take off from here. I just want to see the people taking off and landing. I want to try to get a good view of them. What have we got here? I don't quite see them yet. I might have to move in ever so slightly forward here. I'm not seeing anybody lifting off. Again, I don't want to get too close. Ah, here we go. A Gladius taking off. Do they have their gear down? They do have their gear down as they take off. That's unfortunate. I would like to see the gear up before they even exit the hangar. Now, of course, as I mentioned hundreds and hundreds of times again, folks, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things of Star Citizen, but once again, we are rating on how cinematic people are in their takeoff and landings. And unfortunately, having your gear down as you take off, not very cinematic. Although it was very nice controlled and they did exit appropriately, although they did have the gear down, so I will subtract points for that. So that's going to be an 8 for me. All right, let's see what else we get. All right, I'm going to get a little bit closer to this hangar here. Oh, getting impounded. Let me back up a little. Never mind. I guess the station will just...
You are blocking an active flight bay. Please vacate.
All right, I guess the station is just going to eat my ship. All right, fair enough. Well, I'm just going to EVA out here and watch this person take off. I'm going to hide in this billboard here like it's a pair of bushes or something like that. Let's see what we have. A Cutlass Red taking off, and they have not lifted off yet, although they do have VTOLs active, which is something I'd like to see. Normally what happens is when you power on your ship, VTOLs will actually rotate from the usable VTOL position to being in the flat position for pretty much almost any ship that has VTOLs. And in the Cutlass's case here, generally it's going to be in a flat position when you turn your engines on. So you end up getting a lot of people who end up taking off and having their VTOLs not active. Now again, VTOLs are not 100% necessary. The ship is capable of lifting itself up perfectly fine without using VTOLs. But in this case, we do want to utilize VTOLs because it does give us a little bit more control in our ascent and descent because, you know, the engines are pointed upwards and downwards, right? Perfectly easy for that. On top of that, it just looks better. Overall, it just looks a lot better. So let's see how this person does. I'm trying to zoom in here. It's the canopy's a little bit dark, so I can't see if somebody's actually in it. Maybe somebody's in there actually moving equipment back and forth or something like that. Hard to say here. Not much movement going on here. I don't even see lights, I think, or even somebody moving around here. It could be the ship is still powered off, so maybe this person actually called the hangar and then just maybe they're doing their business with inside the ship right now currently, so there's not really much going on here. I may, if it takes too long, I will probably cut here and just go to when they eventually take off, if they even do. In fact, let's do that now. Okay, here we go. Here the engines are now turning on, and the ship is lifting off from the back end here, so the front is being stuck downwards. You got to remember, folks, when you're lifting up to make sure you're holding control of your mouse. This could actually be server lag here, actually, because of the way they're flying. Looks like they're flying away in 0G. Yep, there they go. It was just the server lagging there, so I'm not going to dock points for that. Although they are now lifted up, VTOL is still active. I can't see the gear quite yet. Got to wait for them to lift up out of the air shield. There they go. Gear is actually down now. You can see it. A little bit weird. I am in EVA, so apologize, folks, as I tried to orient my camera here. Let's zoom in. And gear coming up and VTOL being deactivated. Very nice. Would like to see the gear come up before they even exit that air shield, because that would look a lot better as they're lifting up. Let's go ahead and get inside here, too, because I got to get a ship again. Whee! Perfection. But yeah, I would like to see the gear come up right before you exit into the actual air shield, and then VTOL activation once you have left the air shield. That way it just looks a lot better and cleaner. Overall, very, very nice and controlled. Was a little bit of lag. Not going to take points away from that, though. I will give them an 8 as well on that. All right, let's get a new ship. Sir, you're not allowed to park here. Yeah, this just came into the lobby, and this is what I saw. You just see the darndest things. Distortions on a Razor. That is an interesting idea. I mean, this would mean this is like a support ship for a team fight. I mean, you wouldn't really use it anywhere else, I suppose. I mean, you see the landing gear shell right there. It's just one of the... Sometimes you see Furies in there. I think what happens is people just fly into the window behind me at Mach Stupid, and because of the server frame rates, I think the ship parts just end up clipping through the station or something like that. Is this your ship, sir? Did you have something to do with this? Yeah, looking away from me. Yeah, that tells guilt. All right. Anyway, let's actually try to get a ship, shall we? Goodness, it was a pain getting my new Fury, because for some reason I could not claim my Fury or spawn it or anything like that. The game, I think, tried to impound it, didn't actually impound it, and then I had to go to another station to actually claim it, and then I could finally pull it. I think the game thought it was impounded when it wasn't actually marked as impounded. It's very strange. Anyway, we have a 600i coming off the deck here. Gear was already up, as you saw, while they were in the hangar, and now they are leaving. Look at that. No hesitation. They just flipped around, and now they are going about their business, and off into Quantum they go. That's exactly what we're looking for, folks, here for a cinematic takeoff. We want to see people lifting up, gear up, pushing their way out. If they have VTOLs, use them as soon as they leave the air shield, because it's zero gravity, then you turn them off. Of course, the 600 doesn't have any, so in this case they just push out, and then away they go. No hesitation whatsoever. So that is a 10 out of 10 takeoff. Thank you, Mr. 600, for that. That was a wonderful showcase of what I'm looking for in terms of a cinematic takeoff. But yeah, that was very strange. My Fury was unable to be spawned. As much as I tried to respawn my Fury, it would never spawn it. It would give me a hangar, and then immediately the hangar would just disappear. Yeah, it was very annoying. Also, check out this this Phoenix out here. This is an abandoned Phoenix. I think what happens is sometimes players crash, and then their ships are just left out here when they decide they don't want to come back. It's weird. I don't know. You always see a lot of abandoned ships out in the verse. But yeah, anyway, weird stuff with my Fury, but luckily we got that sorted and we are back. So let's wait for the next customer, shall we? All right, my radar showing a small hangar is opening up over here. Let's take a cheeky peek at what's going on here. So far, the hangar is still closed. Nope, there we go. Now the hangar is opening up. I'm going to stay again, once again, back by the billboards, because I don't want to get in this person's way. I just want to get a peek. An Avenger Titan in the Deck the Hulls livery, which is the Christmas/Luminalia livery. Let's see if their gear is down. Their gear is still down. That's unfortunate. I would like to see the gear up already at this stage, and away they go. Thank you, very nice, sir. Minimal hesitation. They did, however, hover in place right outside the gate before they said to lift up and then head on their way out there. I would like to see gear up, and I would like to see minimal hesitation as they head their way out there. So with that in mind, we are also going to give them an 8. Overall, very nice, but could be a lot better. All right, let's go ahead and wait for the next one. All right, small hangar is filled with a ship right now, and there we go. It is now opening up. Let's see what we get. We have an Arrow, not a common sight we see here on Watching Your Takeoff and Landings. Gear is now up while they are lifted up. This is exactly what I'd like to see. Let's see what they do now as they head out. Are they going to hesitate? Small minor hesitation, but away they go. I think they were just waiting for the hangar doors to fully open. Doing a quick weapons check, and let's see where they go from this point. Now they are clear of the hangar. I don't mind them actually hanging out at this point here, floating around, so I'm not going to take points away here. I just don't like when people hang around too close to the hangars as soon as they leave and they're trying to input their star map. Away they go into quantum. Yeah, that generally can be a little bit of a nuisance and doesn't look as good, but that person got enough distance and that is perfectly fine for what we are looking for. Love the arrow. I can't wait for them to add it into master modes. I don't know if we're going to be getting AC master modes updates anytime soon with that patch being dropped quite recently, but it will be interesting to see if they're going to add it at all, if we're going to just have to wait until 323 to see the arrow. Either way, it's going to be interesting. I want to see how it performs. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hang out next to my emotional support Phoenix here and wait for the next person to show up. So let's wait. Radar's picking up somebody in this hangar. Let's see what we've got here in the small hangar now. This person's been waiting for quite a while. Maybe they're moving equipment as per usual. You never know. So we will see what they will bring to the table here as we wait for these doors to open. A lot of times you get people who just spawn a ship and then they just go back to the ASOPs and then just despawn the ship. It is what it is. This could be... oh, there we go. Hangar doors opening up. Let's see what we've got here. We have a Cutlass Red on the deck. Lights are on. VTOLs are active. That means the engines, of course, are on as they lift up. Do they have their gear up? It's hard to say. This is why I dislike vertical hangars. It does not look the greatest for watching people taking off and landing. But we work with what we got here, folks. Let's see. Are their gear down as they leave? We will take a look here shortly as they rise up like a phoenix from the ashes here. And the gear is, in fact, down. So they're going to flip gear up and then VTOL activation. Perfectly well and good. I would like to see that independent a little bit more, as well as gear activation coming up right before they leave that air shield. But overall, very nice and solid. They were a little bit too low in their distance from the hangar there than I would like. So there is some hesitation. I will take points away from that, of course. But overall, I think that was still relatively solid. They did actually use VTOLs. Of course, the VTOLs, in this case, this person looks like they have their gear and their VTOLs tied together, which is always really nice, but it does mean when you leave and you exit that hangar and you decide to flip VTOLs up as well as your gear up at the same time, it does mean that if you have late gear activation, you have late VTOL activation, right? It's always important to have them decoupled. Best not to have them coupled, at least in my opinion, as a Cutlass owner myself as well, too. But overall, a nice showing. That is going to be a 8 out of 10. I would like to see that gear activation be done in the hangar rather than being done outside the hangar, as well as there's a little bit of hesitation, a little bit minor, not too much. But anyway, back to the Phoenix. Let's wait for another person as the sun is now rising over Hurston. All right, we have a Cutlass Red coming in for landing. I don't know if it's one of the previous Cutlass Red owners we saw earlier. It very well could be, not entirely certain, but you can see the gear's down and VTOL's active. This is why, folks, I don't recommend you macro having them together like that. I recommend you have them independent because it does cause not only just visually bad looking issues, it doesn't look as cinematic as it could, but also you are lacking your usage of your actual engines at this point. Remember, you want to have VTOLs after you come into the air shield because right now your main engines are just not doing anything at this point. Because the retros, as you can see on the right side of those engines, are not pointed forward, so you're not getting as much forward and back thrust. Once you get through the air shield, you can then rotate and you can then turn your VTOLs on. This person is having a wonderful descent, though. They're doing a phenomenal job regardless of that. Some very, very minor hesitation, early gear activation, but overall this is an excellent, excellent showing of exactly what we like to see in a controlled landing. A little slightly offset, but I'm not going to take points away from that. I think they did a fantastic job there. Overall, though, early gear activation and VTOLs in 0G when you don't actually need them. So again, that's also going to be an 8 out of 10. Could be better, could be worse, but honestly, I mean, I think that is exactly what we're looking for. That is well above average, I would say, because most people tend to struggle with that anyway. But yeah, let's go ahead and make our way back to the emotional support Phoenix and wait for our next customer, shall we? It is a brand new day, and like the venerable clownfish, I like hiding along my sea anemones here. In this case, these two giant turrets. As I look on my radar here, I got a signature coming in. This means someone is coming in to land. So I'm going to try to sneak my way over. Now, one of the things about being sneaky in space with the Fury is actually it's a little bit harder because I have engine trails behind me and I don't want people looking at me. Despite the fact that I have a tiny signature, regardless, I don't want people noticing me flying around. I like to try to stay out of people's hair as much as I can. And I know I don't want to also give people stage anxiety as well if they see me out here. So some people do end up spotting me in the wilds and then start making comments in the chat about me watching them taking off and landing. It's all right, folks. If you see me in anything but a Fury, chances are I'm probably not critiquing your takeoff and landing. So if you see me in like a Carrack or one of my fighters, or I'm in with a group of another members of the Forgotten Heralds, don't worry about it. I'm probably not critiquing your taking off and landings. All right. So you don't have to freak out about that too much. Yeah, this person's coming in nice and slow, so I'm going to just hang out over here, and maybe I can peek the camera off to the side and get a peek at who is coming in. Could be a big ship based on how slow they're going. Hard to say. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to give their name away here, but I'm going to let them get a little bit closer, and we'll kind of come up behind them. I don't want to get in front of them. I want to get behind them. And here we go. It looks to be a terrapin from this distance. Don't get very many terrapins. Terrapin is actually a phenomenal ship. I quite enjoy it. It also makes an excellent pocket dropship for troops just because it has a ton of HP. It has more HP than a Valkyrie, funny enough. So if you ever have to actually drop a lot of troops in a contested area where railguns are in play, the Terrapin is an excellent ship for that because it is just a beefy monster. It is very sticky and hard to get rid of. So when you drop troops out, which it has also a decently sized ramp, you can drop troops out of it, and yeah, it makes an excellent dropship despite not being technically a dropship. You can see VTOL is active here, no gear deployment yet, which is exactly what we want to see. They're gonna, looks like they are, ooh, careful with that descent. They are flattening out now, descending. There comes the gear. You can see the little clamshell open up in the back as they gear down there. Excellent. Now again, like I said, you don't need to have VTOLs that early. You mostly want to have VTOLs when you get through the air shield here, because that is a little bit more cinematic as they're coming in. Now they're lining themselves back up here, and touchdown. Very nice. I do like the descent. They were a little bit offset there, probably because, again, they were rotating a little bit early. I always recommend, folks, if you want to be a little bit more accurate in your landing, just do the nose-in approach. When you get past the air shield, you rotate. That's when you then activate your VTOLs, and then as you're descending for that final couple of meters towards the ground, you then pull your gear down. That's all it really takes. It's all it takes for a nice cinematic smooth landing within those naughty little vertical hangars that are annoying. I know everybody tends to gripe about them, I myself included, because not only is it a pain in the butt to land in there, but it also just doesn't look as cool to watch people take off and land from. But it's what we got. We got to work with it, right? But overall, excellent showcase from that Terrapin. Early VTOL activation and some minor hesitation, so I will be scrubbing points from that, but overall I think it was a really solid showing there. I do like that they actually went and rotated early, so they were flat before they came into the hangar. Not many people do that. Most people would prefer the nose-in approach just because it's a lot simpler and easier to pull off. But overall, it did end up putting them out of position, of course. So out of that, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10. Solid, but could be better. Shoot. Go away. Stop looking at me. I don't got any snacks. Security. You know, there used to be a way to actually cheese AI to smash them into the hangars, but CIG have improved the collision detection of the AI a lot more. You used to be able to, because the way security works is they would always stay basically in the same position off of your cockpit. So if they were in front of you in a very specific position, if you started rotating your ship left and right, they would try to follow that position as best they could, which means if you were close to the station, you could then whiplash them into the side of the station at high speeds because they were always trying to hold that vector above your canopy. It was really, really funny, but ever since, I guess, more recent patches, they've added better collision avoidance to the AI, and you can't quite do that as often anymore, so the AI are actually smart enough to just stay out of the way. Which, I mean, it's good, because it was a really easy way to collect security armor. You would just smash them into the station, they would blow up, and then you'd EVA out and collect their security armor, all without any effort on your part. But, you know, it was also extremely comical. But, yeah, that's gone away now. Unfortunate. It was really funny, but, you know, CIG's got to make improvements, and sometimes we lose a little bit of that entertainment, right? As a result. Anyway, I'm going to go back to hiding in my sea anemone here and wait for our next customer. All right, what do we got here? We have a Spirit flying at extremely high speed. Looks like they're trying to now tricord themselves to a stop. And so they do. Let's go ahead and flip engines on and let's go take a quick peek at them, shall we? And see where they plan on going here, moving out. It looks like they are getting the furthest hangar here. So let's go ahead and move on in. Again, I don't want to spook anybody, so I want to be sure I am behind them the entire time. So I'm going to try to get behind them here. and try to see what they do in their approach. Again, Spirit, with these hangars tend to be extremely tight. You can see security just spawned in on the right there in a Saber, just randomly. Oh, look at this. They got VTOLs a little too early for my liking, but they're coming in diagonally, which is something you don't generally see a lot from Spirit owners, because you can come in diagonally. It's actually a little bit more of a novel approach, and it's not too difficult to actually pull off. And you can see they're now using a auto land here, which means their gear was also down as well, too. It might have the gear and the VTOLs potentially coupled together if they had decided to. Oh, no, they're actually rotating here, so maybe they... But that looked like an auto land, but then now they're... Oh... Maybe they didn't, they look like they auto land, then they lifted themselves up, and now they're rotating to have their back door face the actual hangar doors towards the elevator, which is smart. It's really smart. It means you can just get out really quick, because the auto land will face your nose towards the front. And, go away.
Attention.
I don't got any
Please come
snacks.
to an immediate
Shoot.
halt and hold for your vessel to be scanned.
Where am I smuggling things? In my pockets? Like, come on. I always hate that the AI try to scan your little snub ships and stuff like that. It's like, where am I smuggling things, officer? Where's my cargo on this thing? It's like, but yeah, for the spirits,
Thanks.
yes, shoot,
Clear to proceed.
shoot. Can I smash you into the station? Shoot, get out of here. No, see, the collision avoidance actually works for these guys now. They will actually avoid the station. If this was older builds of the game, that guy would have already smashed into the side of the station as he goes on. Also, check out the livery on him, by the way. The kind of golden gray livery. This is very cool. Hurston Dynamics livery. You see the HD logos on the wings there. Very, very cool stuff. But yeah, that Spirit diagonal approach is one of the easier ways of actually approaching those small vertical hangars, simply because, again, it does give you that more surface area to work with. Although that Spirit did have their VTOLs a little bit too early for my liking, so I will, of course, give them a 9. I would probably give them an 8 because they also did have their gear down deployment a little bit earlier than I like, but I will give them kudos for going in the diagonal approach, which is something you don't see a lot of Spirit owners doing because, well, most of them just opt to just bang into the side of the hangar. Either way, phenomenal work. All right, let's go ahead and wait for the next one. All right, we have something big and beefy coming off the exterior here, coming in nice and slow. And that silhouette from far away, being a big ship, tells me that that is probably going to be a Carrack. And indeed, as you can see, the LODs are finally loading in. We don't get the full silhouette here, but I do see the little wing snublets on the side there. That does tell me that is indeed a Carrack. We can now see the actual engine trails are being drawn in now as well. And it looks like it might be upside down for us here. It's kind of hard to say. I think it looks flat on the bottom. So yeah, it is upside down for us. Look at that. And there he goes. He's rotating around because he probably now has his hangar assigned. Why don't we go ahead and wait for them to pass before we actually get to them, because I don't want to get in front of them again, right? I want to just kind of hang out for a little bit here and wait for them to pass, get to their assigned hangar, and then follow them in. You can see their little snubby winglets there. Let me get around this. Yeah, that is the hangar they're going to be going for there. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of schmooze along the side here. You can see their little stubby winglets are faced downwards. Their gear is not actually down. There's an issue with the Carrack right now where it is actually desynced from other players. So you'll probably actually see it teleport its position from sideways and then start rotating downwards when they actually start to pull their gear down. That is just an issue currently with the Carrack right now. Its wings are desynced from other players, so its gear is not actually down. That is just the way the Carrack looks for everybody right now. So as they are approaching the hangar here, we will see it rotate horizontal and then come back vertical again here shortly. There we go. See, it then just switches immediately as the gear's coming down. Very phenomenal approach here. Already through the air shield, gears coming down. I would like to see the gear just slightly later than that, but overall this is a really good showing here. Nice and controlled, and descent and butter. That is a beautiful landing, wonderful. Also, the IAE livery looking phenomenal on this Carrack as well. This is definitely someone who enjoys flying this Carrack quite often because they took a lot of love and care in that approach. I would like to see that gear come down right before they touch down, generally, but overall, I think that was a really phenomenal approach. Generally, that would be probably a 10 out of 10, but I would like that gear to be just a little bit later, so I'm going to give them a solid 9, 9.5 if I were to be giving, you know, halvesies and stuff like that. I haven't actually done it on this show yet, but, you know, if I were, that would be more of like a 9.5, but ultimately, this is just going to be a 9. Phenomenal, just a little tiny bit more there, and we could have a full 10. All right, let's go ahead and wait for the next one. Let's see, what have we got here? We have, is that another terrapin coming in for landing? It does indeed look like we have another terrapin coming in for landing. The terrapin is a phenomenal ship, as I said before. You can see VTOLs are not active on this owner this time. So once they pass the air shield, they're going horizontal this time, which is actually quite interesting. They're going horizontal. Are they going to flip VTOLs on? They are not flipping VTOLs on. They don't have the gear out. No, they have the gear. Okay, never mind. The little clamshell in the back decided not to open, probably because they didn't have VTOLs down. I think there's like 2 separate weird animations with it. Either way, I didn't see the gear as they were going into the air shield, but it looks like as they went through the air shield, they did pull the gear down, although they were missing VTOL. They could have been almost a 10 out of 10 right there. Probably would still be a 9 because they were a little bit offset there, but ultimately that was a really, really good showing, although they're missing that VTOL activation. So slightly offset and no VTOL activation. So I will give them an 8. I think that was pretty good. Could have a few more steps be improved. You know what, folks, why don't we go check out the service pads over here, the exterior service pads, and see how things are shaking up over here. People have been coming in and out of here. I haven't really paid attention to it too much, but I did see a couple of ships were floating around over here, so might as well go check it out, see how folks are doing. And we have what appears to be a 325 sitting on the pad there on its Losum, on the bigger service pad there, slightly offset. I believe this person came in here earlier, did their business, and now, yep, they're taking off here as they are slowly lifting up. And we have what appears to be security, a security mantis below him, probably trying to go scan him, trying to see what he's got on board his ship. Maybe he's a smuggler. If he is, go bite him like a guard dog. All right, let's see what we get out of that 325 here. I did see it slightly move, could be lag. I see the engine just flared on there. LEDs act a little bit strange out here at this distance, so I'm not entirely certain what's going on. It could be this person is flipping their engines on and off. Something's going on. Either way, let's push in a little bit closer and get a better view and see how things shake out. I don't want this security to scan me, actually. Oh, there he goes. There goes the 325. He's lifting off. Yeah, I don't want the security scanning me because he's going to give my position away. And so we're just going to go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and make our way back over here towards this side, and we are going to then wait for other people to come in. I would watch that 325 take off, but I don't want the security to be scanning me because it gets annoying because the security gives your position away, and I don't really want other people to know I'm here as best I can. The security, no, I think that security just, no, that was the 325 quantuming, and I think that is security because I see 2 engine trails, which tells me that that is probably a mantis. Also, apologize, the star is a deadly laser here. Oh, there he is. And the mantis is just going about his day, just enjoying his life as a, security NPC, T-posing in his cockpit, as they all do. All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, small hangar opening up here. I think this will be a good one to cap things off for the day. Let's go ahead and see what we got here. It's a 325. It is not the 325 we saw earlier because that one went into quantum. This is a brand new one taking off here. Already lifted up in the air. Trying to see if I can see the gear. I don't actually see the gear from here. I would normally see just the little sliver of that bottom gear, so it looks like the gear is down. I could be completely wrong. This is just my assessment here for just, the few seconds I'm watching this here. It could be that this person's gear is still down. Let's take a look as they lift off if the gear is actually down. Hesitation outside of the air shield. This is exactly what we don't want to see, right? If we're trying to be a little bit more cinematics in our takeoff here, we want to make sure that we're not hesitating as we exit the hangar here. Actually, the gear is down now that I'm able to get a little bit further downwards here. You can see those wheels sticking out there, so that's also going to be points taken off there as well. Let's see how well this person then juts off into the inky black of space here. And minor hesitation, just space barring up, and then, okay, now they're finding their way out, and push away. And off he goes. 07, good sir. Enjoy your trip. My eyeballs. I'm going to need sunglasses for this part when I edit the video later. And off they go into quantum. Yeah, so they had gear down the entire time. They hesitated on the way out, and then there was continued hesitation as they left. So that's going to be probably roughly a 7, which is probably one of the worser outings we've had for today, but overall still pretty decent regardless. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and switch ships, and I'll be right back to cap off the video for today. All right, folks, that is it for today. I think we had a pretty solid show, and we had nobody that broke like the 6 or in below. I think we only had one person that had a 7 at the very end there. So all in all, really solid outings. No bonks today and no other mishaps. Everybody seemed to be well in order, and that's always good to see. It means a lot of people are definitely practicing and getting a lot better. As well as the new patches dropping, we're seeing a lot of people moving stuff around once again as they are coming and going from stations from their home planet and moving equipment back and forth. And not really seeing anybody having any issues as a result, so overall everything's looking good. But yeah, folks, if you did indeed enjoy today's video and also found it very informative as well as entertaining, please leave a like as it really does help out the channel. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this and much more down the line, be sure to subscribe to see more. But until next time, fly safe, because you never know who might be watching, and I'll see you all in the black.